Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hi, hello, welcome, thank you so much for stopping by. Today's video is going to be my ranking my last 10 palettes video. I did a quick little show of the box of palettes right here, just because I do have them in order from favorite to least favorite, but I'll be going in order from least favorite to favorite for video's sake. So I don't want to give too much of a spoiler. If you guys were quick and could see and you guys really know your palettes, I'm pretty sure you guys would have been able to figure out most of the palettes and kind of where they were on the scale from favorite to least favorite, but I try not to let you guys see too much. So for the palette ranking video, I did get this idea from watching Butte Bean, and that's Makeup Corner, and then my friend Laura also did some ranking type videos. So I was really like, you know, it's a great way to talk about some eyeshadow palettes, especially because one, I love eyeshadow palettes. Two, some of these are older palettes that are just new to me because I waited on picking them up and ended up getting them later on, or I was just sent them, or things like that, between like mystery boxes and just things like that. I just figured it was a great way to talk about palettes I have tried recently. And I do have a couple more palettes that I had just gotten from some Boxycharms and stuff that aren't going to be in this video because I had hit 10 with these. So those will be in my next ranking video. I'm not sure how long it's going to be before I get to ranking those, just because I've been trying not to buy so many eyeshadow palettes just because I do have a lot. I might go through, do some decluttering, so if you guys want to see, like, I already did some decluttering. I gave some to my stepmom and my cousin already. There's that, but if you guys would like to see an updated eyeshadow palette collection, and then I can go over what palettes I've already decluttered, and then if I show them and I debate about decluttering them or not. Anyways, I'm rambling on so much in this intro. I just got so sidetracked. So anyways, if you guys would like to see the last 10 palettes and where I'm ranking them and my thoughts on them in general, then just keep on watching. So when I normally do these videos, I normally do like 4 swatches and just show you guys them on my hand. But I think for this video, I'm going to try to swatch the whole palette on my arm so that way you guys can see more of these shades. I'm not going to like show you guys me swatching every single one. I'm just going to show you guys the final bit of swatches on my arm. But anyways, the palette in the number 10 spot is this Nude 2 from BYS. This was actually sent to me from Online Makeup Academy. So I did the video for them where I was using their SFX course, and in that video I had mentioned that I didn't have everything to be able to complete the course on its own. So they did end up sending me a little like box as like a thank you with some tools, some SFX stuff, and then like this eyeshadow palette in there as well. And this is supposed to be similar, I think, to the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette. Way back in the day, I was not into cool tones whatsoever, so I never picked up the Naked 2 or any of like the dupes for it. For me personally, this palette, I feel like this coppery shade is just very out of place. I feel like if they substituted this shade for a little bit deeper of a cool tone brown, I feel like I would have liked this palette a little bit more, because if I just cover that up, I feel like the color story is a little more cohesive, and then you go from like this mid-tone brown to like a black. So I feel like just a deeper cool tone brown would have just helped blend this palette a little bit more together for myself personally. But I don't think it's a bad formula whatsoever. I think it's actually pretty good. I don't know if BYS is technically like a drugstore brand or if it's still kind of a more expensive brand, if it's like a makeup artist brand. I'm not 100% sure. Never heard of them until I saw this in my box. So the number 9 spot goes to the Aether Beauty Desert Sunset palette. I got this one in a Boxycharm, and again, it's not a bad quality palette. I just prefer the other color stories more. This one, this shade right here is something I'm never going to use. I don't love bright eyeshadow colors on me. I love me a good grungy green, a deep vampy purple, things like that, but I don't love bright green looks on myself. I don't love bright purples. I don't love pink. I'm really not a fan of pink. Red eyeshadow on the orange, if it's like more muted, but like super bright oranges I don't like. I'm just not a bright shadow person. I'm good with like neutrals or like a bright shimmery inner corner or something like that, like a pop of color on the lower lash line, but a full bright eye is just, it's not my cup of tea. There's that, and then I wish that there was just a lighter matte shade. This shade isn't too dark and I can go very light-handed and make this work for me, but if I do just want a lighter matte just to blend it out a little bit more, just to make it a little more seamless, I feel like I just have to go into a different palette, or I just take some translucent powder and just help buff it out. But I feel like if there was just a lighter matte shade instead of this shade, I definitely would have liked it more. But I understand like little sunset vibes. It makes sense for a sunsetty color story. I don't love that shade, but these shimmers in here are so, so pretty. I know they have another palette. I can't think of the name of it or anything off the top of my head. I don't know. Their shimmer formula is just really, really nice. The duochrome ones, I don't know which ones they are off the top of my head, but they do have like some duochrome shades that are really, really pretty. And I feel like if they just did a palette of duochromes, I might have to check it out. Is that one that I'm eyeing only shimmers? I'm seeing it in my head, but I can't recall if there's mattes and shimmers or if that's just an all shimmer palette. I am really drawing a blank. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but it's like a purpley-ish one. I'll figure it out eventually, but like their shimmer formula is really good. Their mattes are really nice too, but their duochrome shades are definitely like where I see this being super special. It's just I kind of like the other color stories a little bit more. Alright, so next is another palette that I got from Boxycharm. Number 8 is the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. So I think you guys know what I'm going to say about this. This just lacks depth for me, because even this super dark purple isn't that dark of a purple. This one's got shimmers that are darker than the matte. It's a very springy palette, I get that. But for me, I feel like if this was like a deep blue instead of the kind of like pinkish shade there, I think I would have ranked this even higher than the next palette, just because you've got your deeper kind of shimmery shades here where there's like the purples, but you've got the bluish shade there. You've got the super bright minty blue here, but you don't have a deep blue to go with it. So I wish there was just like a deep matte blue in here. Even if you traded one of these shimmers out for the matte blue and kept this there, even though this is not really like my favorite shade of the palette at all. They are blendable, they're very soft, they're very easy to work with. You don't have to worry about like your eyeshadow getting super patchy with, you know, like not blending out. It's a very cute springtime palette. And I feel like with the look I'm wearing today, you might be thinking that this is on my eyes, but it's not. I did use something else for my eyes today. But other than the inner corner shimmer shade, I can see how people might think this is what I have on my eyes today, but it's not. Alright, so the palette ranked number 7, I wanted to love so much more than I actually do. This is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell Volume 2 palette. I love everything Halloween. The packaging of this is absolutely gorgeous. Now, if you had the golds, you had the super dark maroon shades like this, I would have loved this palette so much more. But this is just too bright for me. I love the Lunar Beauty formula. His shimmers are everything. His mattes are so, so good, and that's why this is ranked higher than the other palettes. You do have some depth, but I don't associate pink with Halloween. I feel like these two shades specifically are too bright of purples. I love me a good grungy purple eye look, and if this palette had something like that, I feel like it would be so much better. We've got a very nice red. If you love red eyeshadow, this is a very good red eyeshadow. I just don't love red in general. Lipstick, eyeshadow, anything, I just really don't love red. I don't look at this and associate Halloween with it. I was really hoping he kind of did something along the lines of the Moonspell Volume 1 with the neutrals, the green row, and then the purple row, but have more range in like grungy greens, more grungy purples, and then like a more mustardy row and stuff like that, not just red, pink, and orange. Quality-wise, I'd rank this higher because his shimmers are absolutely stunning. I love the packaging, I don't love the color story. But I also got that in a Lunar Beauty mystery box, so I talked myself out of buying it for full price or even like on sale. I would have only bought it for the packaging. I would not have bought that for the color story. So I'm very happy I got it in a mystery box and didn't spend, you know, the $48 on it. Number 6 is the Urban Decay Wild Greens palette. And first off, I love snakes. The eyeballs are a really cool touch. I love the design of this palette. It's super cute to me. And this is a very good everyday type palette for me. I love, you know, neutrals for an everyday, quick, easy look. And these types of greens are my everyday type of greens. And I feel like you guys already know what I'm going to say with why I didn't rank this higher. There's a darker shimmer green than there is of a matte in here. If this was traded out for a deeper matte green, I feel like I would not be able to put this palette down. The mattes are so soft, they're blendable, they're buildable, but like the shimmers in here are so pretty. I don't know if they're specifically like duochrome shades, but some of them I feel like are a little bit duochromy and whatnot, and they just look so pretty. I really enjoy this palette. Such a good everyday palette for me. I just really prefer the color stories of the other palettes a little bit more, with the range from light to dark and just range of colors in there. So palette number 5 is the ColourPop Nightmare Before Christmas palette. I initially talked myself out of buying this because it wasn't initially my favorite color story looking at it. Again, I don't associate the super bright pinks with Halloween. This is a very Halloween-y shade, so I feel like even if this was like the only pop of color, it would have worked so much better. Like this purple really isn't that bad, but it's not like the same tone as that kind of purple. These shades here, this shade, and then the black and this purple, they're so nice. So it's really only those 4 shades I don't use. Like I really enjoy the rest of this palette, so that's why it is ranked higher than the Moonspell palette. These 2 are my favorite for just a 2 shadow look. Like I don't even need to do an inner corner highlight with those, and if I do, I'll use this as an inner corner highlight. Perfect for just an everyday, very basic monochromatic look without just using a one shadow where you kind of have to like blend the shimmer in and like buff out the shimmer just to give it some depth in the crease. Absolutely perfect. Love those 2, and that's why this is ranked higher than the Urban Decay and the Lunar Beauty. If it had a couple more bright shades, I think the Urban Decay would have beat this one out, but this has more shades that I like than dislike, and I really enjoy it. So every time I do wear these 2 shades together, I get so many compliments on my eyeshadow. That kind of plays a factor into it as well, because I get a lot of compliments when I do just that very basic 2 shadow look. Plus the inside of the packaging here. Like this is one where I'm like, I'm not gonna throw out the packaging just because it is so pretty. And that's the thing, like with this right here, the next 2 palettes I'm also gonna tell you are ColourPop. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get a good quality eyeshadow palette. The 2 above the ColourPop palettes are more expensive palettes. 3 ColourPop palettes beat out 4 high-end brands, possibly 5, because I technically don't know if this is a high-end or a drugstore type brand. But the Urban Decay, Lunar Beauty, the Huda Beauty, and the Aether Beauty, I got 3 ColourPop palettes, beating those palettes out. So palette number 4 is the ColourPop Hocus Pocus Witching Hour palette. I got this whole bundle on sale on Ulta for half off. They did bring back the original Hocus Pocus palette, but that one was out of stock, and that whole collection was on sale for half off as well, but I didn't pick it up because I didn't love the rest of the stuff in the collection. Like I don't love red, even though there was a range of like red lipstick shades. Even if it's like a super dark vampy red, I'm not gonna wear it enough to have been able to justify that whole collection just to get the eyeshadow palette. This collection in general definitely just spoke out to me better with those super shock shadows, the little spider stamp, the mirror. Love the mirror. And those lip colors in this collection are definitely better. I didn't do a video on it because it was so late by the time I got it that I feel like nobody would have cared because there were so many videos on it already, but I wanted it just for myself and my Halloween addict self, and just packaging and just how much I loved it for myself. So there's that. Definitely worth it for half off. I'm so happy I have the whole collection. But anyways, packaging super cute, and then again inside packaging of this box super cute as well. I know this got some like negative reviews because people were like, they don't see it being like a Hocus Pocusy palette. They're like, it's too bright, but it's really not that bright. I don't know if it's just because of the neutral shades here that they're like, oh, it's not very Hocus Pocusy. But okay, take this out. You've got the colors for each of the sisters' dresses. You've got a matte and a shimmer, a matte and a shimmer, a matte and a shimmer. And then you've got a brown and a gold. So you've got these shades on your outer perimeter here for the perfect neutral eye. This is the type of orange shade I will wear because it's like a very browny orange. It's not a bright orange. And then you've got the bright orange shimmer to go with it. And then you've got, you know, the deep purple and then the shimmer purple. And then you've got the very deep blackish green shade. It says fur black is black, but it's definitely like a green shade. It's definitely not just full on black. Got like the green shimmer, and then the super shock shadows that go with this collection work so well with the palette. It's just, I really enjoy it. I did the body paints for Winnie, Mary, and Sarah, and I feel like this would have been so perfect to have to use in that video because I could have done an eyeshadow look for the sisters, and then I could have used these to shade the dresses. I really enjoyed this palette. So palette number 3 is the ColourPop The Mandalorian palette. Guys, my apartment is so Halloween-y as well as very Star Warsy. I've got some other like nerdy things here and there, but I've got a lot of Star Wars stuff. Like my bathroom has a Star Wars shower curtain, I've got a Star Wars towel, I've got Baby Yoda oven mitts, I got Star Wars coasters, I've got the Baby Yoda salt and pepper shakers. Like my apartment is very Halloween, just very Star Wars, just very nerdy in general. This is the palette here. The inside of it is not as cute as the other ones, but this is the color story here. And this palette right here definitely got me into more cooler tones, because I initially didn't want to buy this because I was like, it's very silver, but then it went on sale. So then I picked it up and I use this palette so much. This has made me realize I don't hate cool tone eyeshadows on myself. You see a mustard shade and then you see so many cool tone shadows and you're like, that doesn't work, but it does. It's so good. This shade right here is absolutely everything. You will see it in the swatch. If it wasn't Mandalorian, I definitely wouldn't have picked it up seeing the color story, but because it was Mandalorian and it was on sale, I bought it. All right, so the palette ranked number 2 is the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette. And I had actually bought my mom this palette when I bought myself the Moonspell Volume 1 palette. They were both on sale at Beauty Bay, so I decided to pick them up. And then she really liked the color story of this, so I gave that to her. This is the color story here. It is so pretty. It's a very good daytime to nighttime palette. You've got cool tones, you've got a little bit of warm tones without being too warm. These shimmers are everything. This silver is just like wet metal. I wish I would have brought this palette to do my Winter Soldier look for Comic-Con. It was like a skater Winter Soldier because there was no way I was wearing like cargo pants. I went and did like a black smoky eye and everything and ended up putting some silver and stuff. But I feel like if I didn't do a black smoky eye and just kind of went like silver and some gray, and then even if I use this shade here just to have like the black, if I did want a black smoky eye, but looking back, I feel like I could have gotten the same type of look just with this palette and having these 3 shades. But you know, it's fine, it's fine. I'm not upset about it. It was a great time at Comic-Con. Best way to celebrate my birthday. Like I didn't even care that it was my birthday. I was just more excited for the fact that it was Comic-Con. Love this palette so much. This is the type of color story with like the depth from Lunar Beauty that I love. You've got light, you've got dark, you've got light mattes, you've got dark mattes, you've got light shimmers, you've got dark shimmers. Moonspell Volume 2 could take some lessons from this palette, revamp that color story a little bit with this kind of range. But you know, it's fine. This palette is absolutely gorgeous. I adore it. I love it so much. And yeah, it's good. It's very good. I love it so much. And then if you've been anywhere on my channel, you already know how much I love this brand. So the number 1 palette goes to my Blend Bunny, the Dollhouse palette. I absolutely love the Blend Bunny formula. Her color stories are so good. I'm pretty sure I said this in my 5 looks with this, but this is the most perfect neutral palette. You've got your warm neutrals, you've got your cool neutrals, and then you've got your neutral neutrals. But for me, I also consider, you know, the green tones like this, because they're grungy, more neutral. These purples, I can consider neutral tones. And then with how much I talk about not liking pink, these 3 pink shades I can wear. This is like a pinky purple dark shade, absolutely gorgeous. A very light pink that doesn't look too like baby pink and bright pink, but it's a light enough transition-y type pink. And then this pink shade, not a typical shade I would go for on the daily basis, but it's cute. It works, I like it. And you know, this is the kind of pink look I can do and not absolutely hate how my makeup looks. And not just be like, I'm doing a pink look for like a character and then I wanna just take it off. Like in the rare occasion I feel like I might wanna do like a pink makeup look, those will be the pinks I grab for. Otherwise, I'm probably not gonna gravitate towards many pinks unless I'm doing like something else with it. This is the palette I have on my eyes. I adore this palette so much. Her formula is just so good. Her shimmers are like super creamy, super metallic and foiled. Her mattes are so pigmented, so blendable, and she does her color story so well from light, medium, dark, light, medium, dark. I feel like maybe, you know, with the blue it might not make sense too much with like the purple row instead of having like a lighter purple, but you know, I don't care, it's fine. I love that blue shade. So I adore this palette so much. I've got nothing bad to say. She did just come out with the Primal palette, and the only reason I've talked myself out of that is because I do have the Blends palette, and I know that's kind of filling in the holes of the Blend palette, but I don't love rainbow eyeshadows. I got the Blends because I was like, you know, if I need a certain color for any of my body paints, that's going to be the most perfect palette. If I want to play with color on my eyes like that, it's going to be a good palette to do just a very nice, like, monochromatic matte eye, and then I can pop whatever shimmer I want on like the inner corner and stuff to go with it. But for the Primal, yeah, it has those shimmers. I'm not the biggest rainbowy shadow fan. I've got a couple rainbow palettes, like my friend has a collab palette and I got that, and it's a very rainbowy palette, but I got that to support her. If for some reason I lost all my makeup, I could get the Dollhouse and get the Surge, and I would be content for a good amount of time. But obviously I would miss the rest of my eyeshadow palette collection because I just love eyeshadows so much. So I'd hate to lose all my makeup, but if I did, I would be able to use those two palettes and be good to go for a while, and then go broke trying to rebuy all the other palettes I have that I really love. Alright guys, so that was it for the ranking of my last 10 eyeshadow palettes. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on these palettes here. Would you have ranked, you know, my favorite palette last, my least favorite palette first? Where would you have ranked these palettes? If you guys would like to see an updated eyeshadow palette collection, definitely let me know. I'm not 100% happy with my setup right now in the new place, but I'm slowly getting it together. But I can kind of do it like the last video where I just grab the eyeshadow palettes and then just show you what I have, and then when I'm content, I can show you guys like how I have everything set up. If you want to see like a ranking my Lunar Beauty palettes, because I've got a couple of those now, my ColourPop ones. If you want me to do like a top 10 fall, winter, spring, summer palette when it comes that time. I haven't done them really. I did a fall one, but I didn't really do it for any of the other seasons, but I just love fall. But yeah, definitely let me know what kind of videos you want to see regarding eyeshadow palettes. I love eyeshadow palettes. They're my favorite part of my makeup. So yeah, but also let me know if you guys prefer how I did the swatches in this video, where I already have all of them swatched out on my arm so you can see every shade, or if you guys liked it how I did before, where I'm live swatching 4 or 5 of the shades so you can kind of see how they swatch versus just like all of them on my arm at once. So definitely let me know which way you guys prefer, and if you guys want to see like the eyeshadow palette collection video, because I have decluttered some palettes since. So I do have to update my spreadsheet. I am so far behind on updating my palette collection spreadsheet. But anyways, I'm going to quit on rambling. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the little bell notifications so you guys know every single time that I upload. And yeah, love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.